Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. So today we will discuss one of the poem of P.B Shelley, Ode to the West Wind. P.B Shelley was an English romantic poet. He is widely known as one of the best philosophical and lyrical poets in the English language. Shelley was also among the many poets and writers who could not see fame and recognition in his lifetime, and after his death, he gained recognition for his social views and radical poetry. Shelley was an atheist, a fact which certainly contributed to his vision of nature as a powerfully indifferent entity. He worshipped nature, treats nature as something more powerful, more forceful. And the poetic style of Shelley resembles the style of romantic poets. To very extent, Shelley has imitated the style of William Wordsworth. Shelley employed powerful imagery and symbolism in his poetry, and his imagery is often more visual. He also employed simile and metaphors in abundance. Element of imagination, nature, supernaturalism, melancholy, beauty, Hellenism, subjectivity, idealism, lyricism, and many more are found in the poetry of Shelley. So let's start his poem Ode to the West Wind. This poem was written in 1819, and in this poem he is addressing to West Wind. What is the symbolic significance of wind in literature? Wind is used as the symbol of change, any kind of transformation, any kind of revolution, huge revolution. So the main idea of the poem is cleared by the title, that change, transformation, any kind of transformation is the main idea of this poem. Change is the main idea of this poem. This poem contains 5 sections and we will cover first section in this video. So let's begin. O wild west wind. Notice that he is using capital letter for the west wind. It indicates that he is treating it as something divine, something that is not ordinary. And somehow he is trying to associate all these of godly characteristics with nature. O wild west wind, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven, like goose from an enchanter fling. Unseen presence, he uses this word for wind, unseen presence. He is associating all god-like characteristic. It is something interesting. Usually spring is mostly the focus of attention in poetry, especially romantic poetry. Spring is always appreciated and always celebrated. But here, he's addressing this ode to the west wind, which is signal of the beginning of the autumn. That spring is over and all the greeneries are turned into brownies, and and of course life with death and greenery with decay. Thou breath of autumn's being, thou from whose unseen presence describes winds. Okay, God-like characteristic. God is present but not seen. Wind has the same quality. It is there. It causes many changes, but it is invisible. It cannot be seen. Unseen presence. Unseen presence. The leaves dead are driven like goose from an enchanter fling. He uses simile over here, or you can say it analogy. Enchanter means magician. He says, as magician drives goose with its magical tools, in the similar way, as soon as this wind comes, it is the indication that now it will be drive away all the leaves. The trees will shed their leaves, and these leaves will of course turn into brown crunchy dead leaves. In the first 3 lines, the portrait of wind is sort of negative or dark, using term or metaphor, magician and all that. But later on, as the poem progresses, he says yellow and black and pale and hectic red. All these colors have sort of negative connotation being used over here, which signify death, which signify darkness and signify disease. Yellow for the disease. Yellow, black and pale and hectic red. Pestilence stricken multitude, O thou who chariot to their dark wintry bed. He uses another analogy over here, which means all the leaves will be like as if in the room multiple patients with the same disease and they come together. It seems like all the trees are the patient of autumn, because they're turning pale as if they gradually losing their life, and of course from yellow they will turn into black, and then they will be the pot of soil. Though who chariot to their dark wintry bed. So here he sort of, you can see that the tone becomes softened over here, that somehow he's equating death with sleep. Okay, the the sleep which is necessary for renewal. As you know, when you get up from sleep in the morning you feel fresh. So he says that this wind is hashing the leaves to their wintry bud, which is actually the soil. He's actually calling the grave with the soft name of wintry bud. But why this positive metaphor he uses over here? Because he treats the death in such a way. Death is again not the pause, but it is one of the stage of the cycle. When you go through that cycle, then the spring will come again. In order to arrival of the spring, autumn has to come. It is the part of the cycle. It can be interpreted as that they have to accept the cycle. The same dead leaves will not again grow up, rather new will come. Likewise, when we die, we are in the wintry bud and new generation replace us. This is how he is accepting the cycle and making the autumn the essential part of cycle. The cycle going through all stages of cycle. It can also be interpreted as how for celebrating the good days, the hot days of struggle are necessary. You have to go through the struggle, the dark days. Is that struggle prepares you for your achievement, whatever you are going to achieve. Of course, that would be spring for you. Not jump directly. You have to go through the harsh process. You have to put all your efforts. Of course, the spring comes. That change, that preparation is quite necessary. Who chariot to their dark wintry bed the winged seeds, where they lie cold and low, each like a corpse within its grave. So further describes the wintry bud. Until thine azure, sister of the spring, shall blow. Azure is blue color, okay, which is associated with spring. He says that they will all sleeping, all the seeds and all the seeds and leaves shed by the trees in their grave soil until the spring. She will blow her trumpet again. It will be the signal of beginning of new cycle. Clarion over the dreaming death and fill, driving sweet birds like flock to feed in air, with living hues and odors plain and hill. Again, he says with the arrival of spring, all the colors, yellow, black, and pale, replaced by all the colorful hues, or all the colors of spring will be everywhere. Wild spirit, which art moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver, here, oh here. Notice that he again uses capitalized W and S for the wild and spirit. Wild is something which cannot be controlled, which is so powerful, so strong, so forceful, which cannot be controlled. Again, sort of godlike characteristic. God is so powerful, he is only one who takes decision. And spirit, wild spirits connecting spiritual quality. He is trying to find spirit in nature, a sort of force which control everything, which brings the change. Wild spirit, which art is actually old English word for arer. Wild spirit which are moving everywhere. We use word omnipresence for God. He says that wind has this characteristic that at one single moment it is everywhere. Destroyer and preserver, here, oh here. It is a sort of ironic, you can say it as paradox. He is calling the wind both destroyer and preserver. Destroyer because it helps to bring the leaves down from trees, but a preserver because it helps to disseminate the seeds from the plants and trees, ensuring they are find their way to the ground, so they will grow in the spring. So this was the first section of this poem, Ode to the West Wind, and I hope it is clear to you now. Thank you.